UFC 303, Pereira versus Prochazka 2 just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, and my overall event recap as well. So let's all gather around and explain why my picks were wrong, starting with Vinicius Oliveira versus Ricky Simón. I actually just went back and rewatched this fight. Very surprising fight to me in terms of the result of it. Vinicius Oliveira just schools Ricky Simón for 3 straight rounds and shuts him down. Really does shut him down in this fight. I mean, arguably looked as good as like a Mario Batista did against a Ricky Simón, although I think both Batista and Simón had a better account for themselves in that fight. But other than that, Oliveira was just had his hands down, floating around on the outside. Very risky game plan against Ricky Simón, but he was making him miss a ton. Good head movement by Vinicius Oliveira. Low kicks as well. He was throwing a lot of those. Eventually, that costed him in the second round. He got hurt to the leg at the end of the second. But in the first round, he's just doing his thing. Ricky Simón can't really get a takedown whatsoever, which is extremely surprising to me because, again, someone who doesn't have a grappling background was able to like near expose a weakness in Vinicius Oliveira's game due to his lack of grappling defense and lack of an ability to get back up from bottom once he ended up there as well. And that guy was a 23-year-old Albanian in like Bernardo Sapaya, I think his name is. But Ricky Simón, wrestling background, wrestled since a kid, can't get a takedown to save his life in this fight. When he did get a takedown, Oliveira just got right back up. No idea why he didn't do that against Sapaya, but Simón couldn't get a takedown to save his life this whole fight. Didn't shoot well for the entries on them. Even when he did, he just sort of spent too long before finishing them, before Oliveira would get his underhooks and stop the takedown. Yeah, really kind of a humiliating loss for Ricky Simón, because it was like, what can you do to anyone ever? If you're supposed to be a short, stocky grappler, and you can't outmuscle a guy who's taller and lankier than you. So what's the point of you doing the sport? Like, leave. Retire. I like Ricky Simón, but that's just how it is, right? Oliveira, the advantage for Simón should have been his strength. It should have been his ability to muscle Oliveira down. But no, Oliveira just kept getting back up when he did get taken down and shucked off like 9 takedowns in this fight and was schooling Ricky Simón. I watched it back. Round 2, he got his leg badly hurt. He threw a kick. It got checked by Ricky Simón. And then after he was on one leg for like the last 30 seconds of the round, Ricky Simón just kind of let him see the round out. Didn't throw anything with intention. Threw like the laziest flying knee I've ever seen. You got a guy on one leg. He's not walking on his leg right now. Go for him. Swing. Put some power out there. Like, put some gloves on this guy. Like, he's got one leg in front of you at the end of the second. And it was so much so that the live odds actually skewered in favor of Ricky Simón, like minus 300 Ricky. Because it was like, okay, he was expected to win in the first place, and now this guy's got one leg. Of course he's going to win. But no. Round 3, just nothing. If you're throwing less than your opponent is landing, how the fuck do you expect to win? Couldn't get his takedowns. Nothing. Ricky Simón, man. He was ranked at one point. Vinicius Oliveira, good performance. Schooled him. Probably would have looked better if not for that end of round 2 where his leg did get messed up. And he looked good. And he even rocked Simón at the end with like a weird like Rabona. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like a football term. Weird like Rabona low kick. And then he sort of brought up another combination and a head kick at the end of it. He actually rocked Ricky Simón. Sicky Ramon. He actually rocked Ricky Simón at the end of the third round. So even at the end of the second round, actually, Oliveira illegally hit him after the bell. And they just didn't do anything, which I'm okay with. You know, I mean, who cares? He didn't like knock him out or anything. He more like pushed him in the face rather than hit him. But yeah, terrible for Ricky Simón. I think that's like a sign, like, this ain't for you. Try something else. You're a short, stocky guy who can't lift an opponent who's taller and thinner than you. He's still stronger. He's kicking you off every time. A guy with no wrestling background has been able to implement this. You have not. Quit the sport. We move on. Up the card. Great win from Vinicius Oliveira, though, dude. Ray Tsuruya versus Carlos Hernandez. I picked Carlos Hernandez here. I thought you'd be able to be I thought you would have enough scrambles to keep this on from like being dominated on the ground. And to be fair, he had some pretty wicked scrambles in this fight. Outlanded Ray Tsuruya easily in the first round, landed a bunch more shots. Had a big slam in that round as well, but Ray Tsuruya had like a takedown at the end of the round and had him in some very like compromising positions where his legs were all tangled up, even though it wasn't like a locked-in submission attempt at many points. At any points, it was like, ooh, this is weird. This is an uncomfortable position for Carlos Hernandez to be in. So I guess they valued that and they gave him the first round. I'm okay with them giving him the first round, even though he was outlanded 8-2 and he did get slammed on his head in that round. So the damage Hernandez got, but he had like a weird leg entanglement that wasn't really a submission, but it kind of was. So I get why the judges gave it to him in the first. I'm not going to complain. He also had his own moments on top in that round. So they're going to look at the top position, especially when Hernandez isn't landing big stinging shots. You know what I mean? It's not like MVP's few shots here and there against Garry. This was like a few tappy ones that he landed extra. But if this was Christian Rodriguez against Isaac Dulgarian, they would have given it to Carlos Hernandez. All good. Round 2. Ray Tsuruya's got some nasty grappling though. I think it's like an Asian style. The way these guys twist you up in like weird ways. Ray Tsuruya had this guy tangled up on the ground. I think he had him in like an inverted crucifix. Tangle him up. I think he nearly had like a twister on like a few occasions. It felt like most of the fight was like one move away from a twister submission finish. And in round 2, Ray Tsuruya dominated the grappling. Although Hernandez never gave in and never got shut down and kept scrambling and kept working and trying to improve his position and having top position momentarily and then losing it. Round 2 got away from him. Ray Tsuruya wins round 2. Round 3, Carlos Hernandez does his thing a bit better, stops the grappling from being so dominant, has his own time on top, doesn't really do too much with it though, and then tries to work him up against the cage at the end. Ray Tsuruya starts to slow down massively. And that was my prediction for this fight, but I thought it would happen a little sooner at the end of round 2 and then round 3, because I thought once Ray Tsuruya is not able to control him, he's going to be a punching bag and a literally fucking a target on the feet for Hernandez. But Hernandez didn't get it going soon enough. I mean, they could have given a scorecard to Hernandez, but it went to Tsuruya. I get it. Top position. Not much happening outside of it. Good win from Ray Tsuruya. A lot of people call me dumb for the underdog pick there because it was a massive underdog. Ray Tsuruya is a very hyped up prospect. But I knew Hernandez would give him problems. Like, this ain't your regional guys. But surprisingly, Ray Tsuruya's grappling looked better in this fight than it did against some guys with no grappling background on the regional scene whatsoever. So, yeah, good for Ray Tsuruya, dude. Clearly making night and day improvements between fights at his young age. So, looking forward to him. And he's a Japanese guy, right? I really should be correct about that. I think he's Japanese. Tsuruya is a Japanese name, is it not? They don't have his well, I guess he is. Which is good. We need prospects from that region of the world if they're going to be doing this Japan-themed event with Asakura coming to the UFC. So, good stuff from Ray Tsuruya. We move on. Up the card, Martin Buday versus Andrei Arlovski. I actually thought Andrei won this one. And I would have lost another pick. I would have been wrong again. Arlovski would have beaten another heavyweight fat cunt. I thought it was surprising that a judge gave it to Buday 30-27. I thought that was quite surprising. I thought Arlovski could have arguably won every round. It was pretty close. I thought Arlovski just straight up outworked him in that fight. Regardless, though, they're not going to give it to Arlovski when it's close. They don't like him. I don't know why they still employ him. They pay Arlovski $400K to fight, and I'm telling you, he's not had an entertaining fight in... Unless he's been slept... Arlovski has not had an entertaining fight in 7 years, 6 years, 5. And they're paying him $400K to fight. When there's guys like Trevor Peake making like 20 for 20. You know what I mean? This doesn't make any sense to have him. He serves no purpose to the UFC. He has no interest in being entertaining. And again, Martin Buday, you disgusting fat sack of shit. You disgrace. Like... What are you doing? This is your career. This is what you're doing for a living. And we're just trading over-unders against a clinch. And one thing, I'll say this. There's not much to talk about in this fight. Andrei's an old man. Martin Buday's just a morbidly obese guy. Again, like I'm more and more as time goes on, I'm starting to understand why other sports laugh at the UFC and MMA, because it isn't an elite level sport. It's very rudimentary. It's very awful. Martin Buday, with this win, could be looking at being ranked top 15 in the world at number 15. So I think it's just an embarrassment to the sport yet again. We're not progressing as a sport outside of the top 5 at heavyweight. Just a disgusting, fat, disgraceful sack of shit. I haven't worked out all year. Occasionally I'll hit chest and tries when they announce a women's main event of a fight night. But I'm still in better shape than these. I don't get it. I don't get it. They're not training. They can't be training. They just can't be training. That's it. So, I don't know, man. Kind of interesting. They gave it to Martin Buday. I kind of get it. He landed somewhat of the better shots now and then. I liked that the commentary were openly trashing this. Very public. I really enjoyed that. I think that's something we need to do more with these heavyweights, is just be open to trash them, because sometimes you'll see these two fucking fat fucks just writhing around in the clinch over under against each other. And the commentary will be like, wow. But they were almost sarcastically joking about how terrible this fight was. So I already appreciate that from the commentary team. And if DC and Rogan and Anik are working a desk again, or whoever's going to be on commentary in the UFC, I think it's time we openly start shaming these disgraceful heavyweights that are just making no impact and no effect to look good at fighting. Be on your feet. Do some kind of footwork. Like, how low are we in terms of the people that we have in this sport at heavyweight? That Buday is considered, maybe, he's top 18 in the world. It's an embarrassment to the entire sport. The whole sport's a sham. And I realize it more and more every day, and it's sad. But maybe we'll get past this time. I don't know. Just disgraceful. Disgraceful. We move on. Up the card. But I got a win, I guess, because I picked Buday, right? I shouldn't have even got that one. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. How do you predict things? Gillian Robertson versus Michelle Waterson-Gomez. Now, I thought that Michelle Waterson-Gomez would be able to do quite well here, because I've seen her deal well on the ground against other grapplers before. Of course, Mother of Time is going to catch up to a lot of these women's fighters. But, you know, I saw Gillian Robertson against other opponents, and I haven't seen the same level of grappling prowess from her in those fights. She has looked good in other grappling matches, and she has got dominant position, but she's nowhere looked this brutal in terms of her ground and pound. So I thought that maybe Michelle would be able to have her moments on the feet, and then things sort of get stalled out on the ground a bit more. But no, this was the best Gillian Robertson we've ever seen. She looked massive out there compared to Michelle Waterson. And Michelle Waterson just didn't really have anything. On the feet, couple flicky kicks, and then end up on bottom and have no way of getting out of there whatsoever. And Gillian Robertson just dominates from there every single round. So really impressive from Gillian Robertson. She dominated the fight, and Michelle Waterson clearly lost. I guess that's her done. She retired. They had a massive send-off for her. I just want to read you something interesting. She is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She's 8 and 9 in the UFC. She's never won a belt. She's never been in the top 5. She's never been close. She's never had a great win. She's never had an impressive victory. She's had rear naked chokes over Paige Van Zandt. That started with a... No, it didn't start with a head kick. Rose's one started with that, and then she got it. I'm not even sure, though. I can't quite remember, but fairly certain that was that. So she hasn't had a knockdown in her entire career, and they've given her a GSP-style send-off, and they didn't even give GSP that send-off. So if she wasn't hot, they wouldn't have done that promo for her. That is just disgraceful pandering. You know the fucking bar you've set now? If Michelle Waterson is getting that kind of send-off. You know how low you've set the bar? Have fun. Have fun doing that for fucking Santiago Ponzinibbio. You know what I mean? What are we doing? Like we were saying, sending off some fucking goat of the sport. The fuck has she done? Nothing. Her entire career. Fuck all. She beat Angela Hill I thought Angela Hill was better than Gillian Robertson. Styles make fights. I get it. But, yeah, man. Yeah. Shit fight. But Gillian won. I should have picked her, I guess. I should have trusted in just size that she would have been too strong. We move on. Up the card. Payton Talbott versus Yanis Ghemmouri. I picked Payton Talbott to win. And Payton Talbott won. I picked him to win by like second round TKO. Because I didn't think that he was just going to immediately smoke Yanis Ghemmouri. But he immediately smoked Yanis Ghemmouri within 19 seconds. And there was like a delay after he dropped him as well before they stepped in. So it was really like 15 seconds, 14 seconds. Patient on the outside. No one really throwing. Like he's landing the better shots on Ghemmouri. Or is he even? I'm not even sure. Was there a long follow-up time where he threw shots afterwards? I think there was, actually. So maybe not. But both guys landed maybe one shot on each other at range. And then I'm not joking. Payton Talbott threw a jab. And in response to this jab, Yanis Ghemmouri did like a shift back low kick. Which was really interesting decision making, to say the least. Like, I picked Talbott. I'm not coping about a pick here. I'm just saying. Amazing win from Talbott. He's going to get a ton of hype from it. But my God, Yanis Ghemmouri, you have fumbled that massively. And someone messaged me actually on Instagram saying that Talbott told Ghemmouri that he's got to chew up his legs with kicks in like a pre-fight build-up type of giving advice type video on how to beat him. And he just smoked him as he went for a leg kick. So that would be pretty cool if that's true. Talbott gets a 50k performance bonus. Yanis Ghemmouri tries a fadeaway into elbow range low kick to start the fight against an explosive striker. And gets put away with a 1-2 because of it. And then covers up and gets TKO'd. Great win by Talbott. Amazing win. It was more, what are you doing on the Ghemmouri side? But Talbott wins, dude, and he would have won anyway. Come on. This was a layup, and it's good that he smoked him this easily because I'm telling you, anything Ghemmouri could have done, if Ghemmouri got a takedown for a minute, if Ghemmouri landed a good shot, if Ghemmouri, heaven forbid, dropped Talbott, people would have been on Talbott about being a fraud. So this keeps him alive, and this keeps him active as well. So I say put Talbott on the sphere card and put him against, he called out Yanis. Cody Garbrandt is also an option, in my opinion, in terms of a big-name fight you could make. We move on. Up the card, Gene Silva versus Charles Jourdain. I picked Charles Jourdain, and I thought he was doing good to start the fight with kicks. A lot of them were blocked by Gene Silva. Important to mention, Gene Silva did miss weight for this fight, which isn't good, because every time a fighter misses weight, they win. Typically, it's normally how it works. So why make weight? Like, genuinely, we need to do something beyond just a fine. We need to take a point. We need to be like, you're a round down. You can't win this round. Get to the end of the scorecards. Take off a point for the guy who missed weight. Something along those lines. Free groin shot for a guy who made weight. You know, something like that. But Gene Silva beat on Charles Jourdain, dude. Dropped him in the first round. Hurt him badly with a nasty shot. Put him down bad. I thought it was over, but Charles Jourdain survives. Both guys were doing all right in the first round at each other. Like, Jourdain was doing good kicks and staying composed, but Gene Silva was trucking forward like a little tank that he is. Jourdain was throwing these head kicks over and over again, and Gene Silva was like high-fiving him in the middle of the fight, saying, like, nice, dude, you're really trying to KO me right now. This is great. It was so fun, dude. I like Gene Silva. Sucks that he missed weight, but I do like Gene Silva, dude. Lord Gene Silva, dude. This guy's so good. Anyway, he was like high-fiving Jourdain, like, nice, dude. You want to KO me so bad with that head kick? That was so cool. And then Jourdain gets uppercutted in the clinch, like Sadiq Yusuf Diego Lopes style, and gets slumped by it, man. Nasty. He actually had, not even in the clinch, it's almost like Gene Silva had the back of his neck grabbed, like by the scruff of his neck, and then just shoveled an uppercut into him. Kind of not nice to see, because you're like, okay, he's weirdly being able to get back up after these takedowns by Jourdain with crazy strength. He's got this weird snap in his shots as well. He didn't have to cut weight like Jourdain did. Jourdain drained himself to depletion to make weight. You didn't. So it does have a sour taste to it because he did miss weight, but he got it done, man. Charles Jourdain's going to have to go back to the drawing board because he's spiraling a bit. You know, we've always had Jourdain up and down, win one, lose one, but now we're seeing a bit more of a spiral. So he might be on his last chance after this one. We'll see. Gene Silva gets it done. No, good for him. We move on up the card to another fight, which was Andrei Fili versus Cub Swanson. I thought Swanson won. I actually thought Swanson won this fight. I have it weirdly different than the stats would suggest. The stats would suggest that Swanson won the first and the third, if I was to make my argument. But I actually thought he won the second and the third, because I thought he landed a lot of better shots on Fili in the second. Maybe he wobbled him, and that's why I'm like forgetting that he wobbled him or something like that. But in round one, I thought, okay, Fili had some control time. Fili got some takedowns. Swanson did good on the feet, but I think they'll edge towards Fili because of that. So they gave it to Fili, I thought, in the first. And then round 2 and 3, this got fight of the night, by the way. No idea why. I guess it was that shit of a card. They just couldn't give out performance bonuses because it was a dog shit card. I know I had bad picks, but I got Fili here. Another robbery. Imagine if I didn't get these decisions, dude. Even worse. Holy fuck. But yeah, Swanson hurt him. I guess in the set, he must have like stung him with some big shots. He must have done. I think he did, right? That's what he was doing. He was stinging him with these big shots. And then round 3, I thought Swanson did better, pushing forward, putting pressure on, and then occasionally Andrei Fili would land back with something big, and it would stop the exchange. But I just thought Swanson was landing better, and I thought he finished really strong in that round as well. So yeah, man, I had Swanson winning that, and they gave it to Andrei Fili. Sucks for Swanson. They still got a bonus though, so Swanson can still make that money. But yeah, Fili wins. Kind of a shit fight. It was genuinely a shit fight. And it got fight of the night. Why? I guess they just felt bad for Swanson, I guess. But I don't know. It was genuinely a shit fight. Like, they landed 20 and 18 in round 1, 12 and 18 in round 2, and then 30 and 31 in the third. And it wasn't like there was any knockdowns. Like, they were really... Well, good thing Ortega got that fucking extra bonus for everyone but him, because he didn't even show up. We'll get to that. We move on up the card to another fight, which was Joe Pyfer versus Marc-Andre Barriault. So this one was one of the deserving performance bonuses. You had to pick Pyfer to win, and Marc-Andre Barriault ain't throw a single shot of commitment. Tried a couple tappy shots, but just got backed up, out low kicked nastily. I feel like, well, how many Pyfer low kicks landed? 3? Probably 3. 3 hard, solid low kicks. And then he just stung him over the top. Bang. Cracked him around the guard on the temple. Stumbled Marc-Andre for a bit. And the next one did land behind the head, but the angle at which Pyfer threw it from, it's on Andre Barriault if it hit him on the back of the head. People are saying you can't hit on the back of the head. That is actually not true in MMA. You're allowed to hit someone on the back of the head. You can't hit them to the back of the head, where you're from destination to landing point is targeting the back of the head. If you're throwing from in front of someone, and from whatever reason, your fist or your kick happens to hit the back of their head, that's on their defense. This is the Cyril Gane JDS argument. You know, we see head kicks all the time, wrap around and hit the back of the head. It's not illegal, you know what I mean? So Joe Pyfer finishes him, puts him out cold, wobbles him badly with a shot that lands sort of very back of the headish area, but legal. And then slumps him with the like lead shovel left uppercut or whatever it was that he threw as he's going down, and just laid him flat on the canvas. Nasty KO from Joe Pyfer. Body bags, gets it done. I'd love to see what he does next. He called out Paul Craig. Weak call out, in my opinion. Be a man and fight someone who actually can fight. No offense, Paul Craig, but that's a recipe for a 50k bonus performance KO. And Joe Pyfer knows that, which is why he called him out. But if he wants that fight, he can get it. I'd love to see him work back through Hermansson. That's what I'd love to see. Even though it doesn't make sense for Hermansson, I hate that there's going to be that asterisk on Pyfer's career, so we'll see. But great win from him, nasty KO. Probably one of the highlights of the card, right? Him and Talbott, other than Pereira, I guess. We move on. Up the card, Garry versus Michael Venom Page. This was the worst possible way this fight could have possibly gone. This is the worst way this fight could have gone. There's no worse way than this. Even a controversial what? Doctor stoppage what? No contest what? Even the controversy around that and the disappointment around that would have been like talk aboutable. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that weird no contest that happened. Let's run it back. There was no finish from either. There was no moments from either. MVP did good in the second round on the feet, but I know a lot of people are roasting Garry here. MVP is more than okay to stink up a show if he doesn't get a KO, you know. More than okay to throw 10 shots around. And I remember Brendan Schaub, yeah, on JRE, I was watching a fight companion that they had recently. And on it, they were talking about comedy and the intricacies and how there's only 100 of us in the world. And we're so important for everyone. We're such important people, us comedians. Fucking obnoxious cunts. Either way, though. They were yapping about that during a fight. But at one point, they were talking about MVP and Garry in the card. And Brendan Schaub was like, dude, MVP can have really boring fights sometimes. And Rogan was like, no. What are you talking about? No. And I'm like, dude, have you ever watched an MVP fight against anyone that isn't a schmuck? They're typically quite boring. They are. Like, if MVP fights someone who's, like, got a takedown threat for him to actually worry about or could beat him in any way, he will happily throw 10 strikes around and just do fuck all. Ian Garry also did fuck all, and Ian Garry is going to take the brunt of this because he shied away from the stand-up. Fact. That's what you need to go at Ian Garry for. But MVP got fraud checked as well, dude. What the fuck are you doing on the ground? Giving up such bad positions. No understanding of certain positions. You know, had a moment where maybe if you could have shook Ian Garry off the top in the third, but what was he doing in the third? Just letting the round get away from him. Just there. Like, dude, do a little bit of a shake or try and grab at Garry and push him off of you. It felt like MVP was just like, I'm on bottom. I'll just let this round ride out. Like, it was such a weird... He even sort of kind of let Ian Garry up in the third round when he ended up on top. It was really MVP's trash other than, like, blitz striking technique, I guess. But, yeah, I thought MVP could catch him and put him away on the feet. I thought he'd have a huge advantage, and he did. But Ian Garry's willing to grapple. We saw that in this fight. Wasn't great-looking grappling, but I guess even not great grappling is good enough to expose MVP's ground game, and... That's what happened. Round one, he nearly had a rear naked choke. That would have been insane if he got that because he had just started training with Oliveira and he'd like hugged him on the way out. And that would have been a cool little moment. I think there was even a post about that, like one training camp with Oliveira. All of a sudden, this guy's rear naked choking people. Round two, MVP way faster than him. And that does need to be mentioned. Ian Garry shied away from the stand-up. He said he was going to be faster. He said MVP's not seen striking like this. That all went out the window the second the fight began. He was half the speed of MVP. He's not that fast. His kicks were half speed. He's got like T-Rex soy arms with no reach for a 6'3" guy. I mean, the guy's got what, a 74-inch reach at 6'3"? Like, not even a positive ape index. I'm not even sure. So he was trying to jab at MVP. Like, dude, you got T-Rex arms. Not going to work. And he kept getting tagged for it. And in round two, MVP landed some really good shots. Round three, MVP landed like one or two good ones. But again, nothing else, man. You can't complain. Garry, MVP did fuck all in this fight at times. Just bouncing. Like, KSI out there. Like, it's good. And he's good. And in a point fighting striking match like that, he will win. But, like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Let's have some intensity. Let's have some urgency here. There was no urgency. And Ian Garry was able to dominate the first round in the grappling. Second round, just get outclassed and barely land anything other than maybe a low kick. And then round three, get his takedown again and just get the back where he needed to. And the back looks better than full guard from MVP. So he won because of that. Really, the worst way that fight could have gone, you lose MVP's hype beyond belief. No one's really going to give a fuck. And also with MVP, it was kind of now or never, right, in terms of his run to the top. Because now he is... I mean, he was born in 1987. So what, he's a lot older than me. He's what, 37 now? 36? Damn. Yeah, that's tough for MVP. But that's kind of him done. I don't know who he fights now. They'll probably give him some kind of up-and-comer and then... maybe you can have a second run, but you shouldn't be getting any favors after that performance. Ian Garry, though, stalled out the fight where he could. Shitty fight from him. I think Covington would be more inclined to take the fight, but Covington probably won't because that would mean being a fighter, and he's not one. So, Ian Garry wins. Loses all hype. MVP loses all of it as well. Worst possible outcome. We move on. Up the card, Macy Chasson versus Mayra Bueno Silva. I picked Macy Chasson. Now, this was probably the most exciting fight of the card. They gave a performance bonus to Macy Chiasson. She lost the first round. She was doing all right in the second round and then just cut her open with an elbow. They gave that a 50k performance bonus to Macy Chiasson. You could have saved money this card, Dana. You could have just saved money and then just put it on another card when they actually earned it. But regardless, great scrap. First round was all action-packed between the two of them. I actually trashed the fight because I was like, oh, Mayra's got great tits. Why is she wearing a shirt for this? Does she not have any self-awareness? But it's actually a fun fight. Mayra's tough. She pushes forward. She grits down in the clinch. She throws heavy elbows and knees. And Chiasson just rode out the storm, basically. And I knew that would happen. That's what I picked to happen. But obviously, she could have got KO'd early by one of those. Like, so many shots landed from Mayra. It's all chance whether or not Chiasson gets dropped by one of those or hurt by one of them or cut by one of them. Like, it's literally all fluke. There's no... So I'd love to say, oh, what a great pick of Chiasson, but fact is, like, any of those 42 shots that Mayra landed in the first round had a 10% chance of causing a cut, had a 5% chance of causing a knockdown, and that's just a fluke of the game. So I'd love to take credit for a great underdog pick, but it's just all coin flips. Like, I get no satisfaction out of a good pick because it's just, the game's like retarded. So great win from Chiasson. No, she pushed, she broke her in the clinch. She won how I said she would win, by breaking her in the clinch and pushing harder and having better conditioning. And that's what happened, right? She probably would have went on to win anyway. Looked like Mayra was slowing down, but she gets the out because it was a cut and it wasn't really a loss. So that's kind of better for her career because she probably would have lost anyway. We move on. Up the card, Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Smith. Roman Dolidze, man. I look at Roman Dolidze fights sometimes and I think to myself, genuinely, I'm going to be real here. I think to myself, there is no way anyone can possibly lose to him unless they shoot a retarded takedown on him. Because he will twist you up like a pretzel if you shoot a takedown on him. He's nasty off of his back, and he's nasty on the ground off his back in general. Anthony Smith thinks he's good. And this is the problem with Smith. So he's out there doing things like these little movements with his hands and these little slick things that he's doing. And I'm like, you're never gonna pull 1-2 counter someone. You're not. You aren't him. Be scrappy. Pressure. Shoot. I don't suggest shooting a takedown on Dolidze, but the guy's been talking about how his grappling is what sets him apart, and I don't see him shoot takedowns unless he's been rocked, unless his league leg has been absolutely made to toast. And that's what happened in this fight as well, man. Roman Dolidze chewed up his leg, dominated the second round, and then clearly won the third, and just dominated the fight, start to finish. I have no idea how two judges gave Anthony Smith a round. I have no fucking idea how two judges gave Smith a round. No idea. But Roman Dolidze just beat up on Anthony Smith the same way Jones did, right? Like a really... I mean, he won the first round against Smith clearer than Jones did. In a way. And in round 2, he dominated. And in round 3, clearly won it. I don't know, man. Smith just kind of lets it happen to him. He's on bottom. He's on his knees. He's tucked up in a ball. He's got his 2-on-1 wrist control. And he's just there on his knees while his opponent is just winning. Like, you got to move, Smith. Like, pop up something dynamic and explosive and athletic, please. And there's never any of that from him. I personally just am very shocked by the result of this fight because I've seen Roman Dolidze strike, and I have always thought to myself, he has no idea what he's doing. It was still enough to beat Smith. He will not check low kicks. He will not be good off bottom position, other than maybe Devin Clark diving into a triangle against him. He's really bad, and this fight showed that. And Dolidze gets it done, moving up a weight class, man. At light heavyweight, he beats Anthony Smith. So maybe Roman's got a future at light heavyweight. I don't think he'll do ever good at middleweight. I think he's a free win for anyone at middleweight. But at light heavy, maybe this division's that shit that he will have a chance. I don't know. Who wins Roman Dolidze Jiri? I don't even want to think about these realities. But really shockingly bad performance from Smith. Never looked like he wanted to win. But he's a Lionheart, right? He makes it till the end. And that's more of... That's a thing with him. Lionheart, in my opinion, you grit down, you start swinging, and you say, let's fucking go, dude. Holloway, he's up in the fight, and he's doing that shit to Gaethje. You know what I mean? And Gaethje obliges. Yeah, bring it, dude. Here's my chance. He gets slept. Smith's not going to get slept because he doesn't even try. He just lets fights get away from him and then says, just wasn't feeling it, man. Just sometimes you get out there, you're not feeling it. Just like, ugh, what a yucky performance from him. And he loses again. Don't speak Pereira's name ever again, dude. You get fucking killed by him. Smoked by him so badly. Roman Dolidze, top 10 in light heavyweight. Wow. This sport, man. That is so shocking to me. It's very shocking to me. But there you go. We move on. Up the card. Diego Lopes versus Dan Ige. Diego Lopes wins. I picked him to win. I guess I'll take this as a win. Because I picked it like... Because Ortega basically showed up with a fever. So he pulled out. Trust me, guys, he had a fever. I'm not saying he's ducking. I'm just saying it was all a bit weird from the get-go. I don't think he ever knew he was... I don't think he ever believed he was going to be able to make weight. And I think that pressure on him, along with the weight cut, was like, oh, fuck, I'm fucked now. I'm ill. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Brian Ortega's out. Dan Ige steps in on a few hours' notice, literally because he trains at Extreme Couture down the street from the UFC Vegas area, where their whole corporations are built and stuff. So he goes into the event, and now he's fighting Diego Lopes. Lopes is weighed in at 146. Listen to this. He's weighed in at 146 the night before UFC 303. He's on weight. He goes to bed. They wake him up and say, Ortega's not going to make weight. So he's already made weight, pretty much. And he builds back up to, what was it, 155. Okay, Ortega's not cutting. He's cutting to 155. So Ortega's just basically scammed a 10-pound weight advantage over him, is what he's done. Whether you think that 10 pounds is going to be pure mass in the octagon on the night, or a lack of weight cutting coming into that 10-pound advantage, he had a 10-pound advantage of mass or lack of cutting. And Lopes says yes. Ortega's out. Ige's in at 165. So he weighs in again in the locker room at 165. So Lopes is just getting dragged around like a mess. And Ige steps in. He had a training camp, by the way. So he was in shape for a fight. And Ige looks really good. First round, Lopes schools him on the feet, lands better shots. Not too much excitement, but he nearly gets him out of there with a guillotine turned into a dash choke at the end of round 1, I believe it was. And then that's a really good round for Lopes. But again, I was saying, dude, he needs to stop swinging so hard. Ige cannot be finished. He can't. He fought with Emmett. He scrapped with Emmett in round 1. He won't be finished. He won't be. And Lopes couldn't finish him with his striking. So I was telling him in my head, grapple. You got to grapple against this guy. Korean Zombie exposed this guy's fucking jiu-jitsu. Go. Round 2, he starts grappling a bit more. Gets the back, locks it down. Whole round sort of skims by. A couple shots landed before that from the pair of them. I think a head kick landed from Ige, and then Lopes got the takedown from that. And then round 3, Ige wins the round. Lopes starts good. You can see he's slowing down a bit. He's still winning, though. He's still getting position, like he's holding up against the cage. He's got one hook in against the cage, that type of thing. But Ige's just good at like staying in fights, and that's what he does well. He kind of fumbled it at the end, though. And again, this is what it comes down to when I'm talking about the chromosome levels of these guys and Down syndrome amongst MMA fighters. I might do a whole video on a deep dive of Down syndrome in the MMA community, but I'm not sure. But Dan Ige starts doing really well. And actually, for a second, I was like, oh, shit, no, please. Because I was like, fuck, dude, I need one fight right on this card. And Lopes is like backing down, breaking in the 3rd round. Ige's tracking him down, landing good shots. And then just lays in full guard. Lands some good shots from there, but you've got Lopes out Like, he's not got stuff for you on the feet now. Let's try and put him away. But he just lays in full guard for the last minute. If I had, like... Imagine someone had, like, sneakily put money on Ige. They would have been raging, dude. Looking at him lay in full guard. Just giving Lopes a way to a decision win. Like, oh, I don't want to finish him. Let me make sure I carry him to this decision. That really weird decision making. But again, these guys have Down syndrome, so... Good win from Lopes. I still think it's an impressive win. It's Dan Ige, and he was in a training camp for a fight, and he didn't have to cut weight, which is a huge advantage. He probably cut to 165. So he had a bit of an advantage out there. So yeah, I thought it was still a good win from Lopes. Just, you know, Ige's unfinishable, basically. Main event, Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka. What can we say? Alex is just too damn good for these guys. They're not on his level on the feet. And even though they kind of know that, they still just bolt in to his left hook every time. I thought Jiri would grapple a bit more. He actually had a grappling attempt, but they haven't counted it because it wasn't really a grappling attempt. It was more of like a, oh, God, I'm too close. Let me just get a hold of him for a second up against a cage because I'm way too fucking close right now. But it was good to see Jiri, like, attempting grappling early because I was like, okay, if Jiri gets out of this round, now it'll be interesting. And I'm waiting for that. There's seconds counting down at the end of the first round. And I'm thinking, dude, Jiri gets out of this first round, dude. I was getting hyped for Jiri. I was like, dude, Yuri's going to get out this first round after a bit of clinching. A bit of clinching for a minute, and he's out the first round. This could get real. That's what I was thinking in my head. And then Jiri, with a second to go in round one, I'm going to word this exactly how it was. Lunges at Pereira with not even a strike-looking thing off of his lead hand, and lunges in with his chin as high as he can possibly put it. Lunges in with a second to go. He's not going to win the round back. He's been outclassed on the feet already. He's taken some big shots. And maybe that's why Jiri did it. Maybe Jiri was like, oh, I'm taking him. But really, Pereira weren't really landing that good. And then Jiri just bolts at him and leaves his right hand literally out to the side as he charges in. Gets slept, basically. Saved by the bell. And then round two, both guys are out there still. You know, Pereira's still, you know, moving well. Everyone's very patient. Pereira doesn't want to rush things. And Jiri just reacts badly to a switch kick to the head. Lowers both of his hands away from his face and as far away as he can get them from his body as possible. I wish I was making this up. I'm not. This was the pinnacle of light heavyweight in the UFC. I know I picked Jiri. I know. I know I did. I thought he would be able to do something. We'll get to that in a second. Lowers his hands away from his face, darts him out to the side, away from his hips, and gets head kicked. Really late stoppage. Should have been stopped a little earlier. Nasty to see Jiri go through that damage. He still toughs it out and gets through it and stands up and is trying to walk through it and shit, but Pereira puts him away. Like, heavyweight champ, embarrasses. I think he's exposing MMA, and I might do a whole video on it. He is exposing that this ain't the sport we thought it was. This is a ragtag. You know how we thought back in the day, this is now an elite sport, this MMA thing. But back in the day, it was a ragtag bunch of losers and downies in a cage. We're still in that era. And no existence of GSP will change that for these light heavyweights and heavyweights. We're still in that era. One day soon, in 50 years, hopefully within my lifetime, we'll get to the point where this is a legitimate sport, where there are skilled fighters. But we are still in the ragtag retard era. And maybe one day we'll leave, but we're still in that era right now. And Pereira puts away Jiri. Nasty win. I don't want to take away from him, but man, you're fighting a guy who's never gonna shoot a takedown on you. Only got a nasty left hook. He does have other moves, but it's the left hook in it. That's the move. That's his move. Don't get hit by the left hook on any circumstance whatsoever. Don't get hit by it, please. And we've got these guys walking straight into him, throwing their left hand with their right hand by their fucking waist. So often. It's insane. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Tudo Pip. I'll see you later. It's 11 a.m. I'm done. So, another terrible night of predictions, man. I'm trying. I thought, you know, Simone has a wrestling background. Sopai doesn't. Sopai exposed Oliveira's grappling. Simone will. Nope. Simone has like scrapped with Batista. He's not some random Bernardo Sopai. No, Oliveira cleans him. Tsuruya looks better at grappling against an American guy with a wrestling background than Japanese people without it. Arlovski arguably could have won, so I don't even want to take credit for my Buday pick being right. Whatever, I maybe should have picked Robertson. Waterson's out of it. You know, she was looking kind of fine, so I was like, oh, she's turning back the clock this week. I don't know. Talbott does his thing, obviously. Gene Silva misses weight. That sucks. So that's tough to pick. Could have won anyway, though, right? Should have probably won anyway. Andrei, Fili, Cub, Swanson. I thought Swanson won, but, you know, they gave it. That's another pick I got right from that, so I'll take it. Pyfer won, obviously. Garry, Page did not see that fight going that way at all. So that's how I was wrong there. Garry had his back and shit. You know, he won it by basically just avoiding the stand-up at all costs. Pretty insane. Chasson luckily got it, I guess. Otherwise, I would have got that pick potentially wrong. I reckon she would have won anyway, though. Dolidze scores Anthony Smith on like a week's notice. And Lopes nearly loses to Ige. And yeah, it is what it is, man. Like and subscribe. See you later. Sorry, my picks were bad, I guess. What do you want? What am I supposed to do, man? Be wrong and then be rewarded by being right? I have to be right in my prediction video. I don't know. See you later. 2 weeks, I guess. We'll be back with Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. With a co-main event of Ponzinibbio Salikov in 2 weeks' time. So, see ya.